to 12 years from now.
Yep. In the film Things to Come.
Yeah, this movie's fascinating.
Fascinating, yes. Good, not sure, but fascinating, absolutely.
I will say, so this movie is in 3 parts, more or less, and each kind of depicts a different era in the near to far-flung future. I think that the segments get progressively less good. I think the first segment is really good. Like,
Well, that's because the first segment is they're like, how did they predict it this well?
Yeah, so this movie is initially set in 1940, 4 years in the future, and it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah, in kind of a like seemingly England, but also like not explicitly England. They're kind of trying to make
it's England.
but it does have this kind of like Last Laugh esque, like we're not gonna give any place names. This is kind of just like in a country that it's got this kind of Twilight. This movie reminded me a lot of the Twilight Zone in many ways.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they explicitly call it every town.
Right, exactly.
So
it's every town.
Yeah.
They're all talking with English accents. It was, I think, shot in England, so it's like, but it's yeah.
So this movie is imagining some kind of future land conflict that initiates
1940
that initiates another world war. The war to end all wars again.
I don't know. That seems a little far fetched.
It's maybe 1 year too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This first part of the movie that's depicting the outbreak of this war is harrowing. Like, it's really well done. I started watching this movie initially late at night. And I watched about 15 minutes of it, and then I was like, I'm too tired to watch this, so I restarted it at a different point. So I watched like the outbreak of this war, and that night I had dreams about chemical weapons. And
Damn.
like I had a dream. Okay, I had like a really intense dream about like a future American Civil War that I was like witnessing the outbreak of, and as I was like leaving, like trying to escape with a bunch of other people on like a boat, there were like chemical weapons that were being dropped from the sky, and we were all like suffocating inside of the boat, and I was like completely unable to breathe, and my vision was fading, and I died, and then I woke up. And like that was like what the beginning of this movie inspired in my mind. It was like a dream of like a slow, painful chemical weapon death.
Damn. I did not have visceral nightmares from this movie that I can remember anyway. But yeah, the beginning of this movie is very, I was just mostly just taken aback by kind of how like spot on it is, and it does feel like they know what they're doing making this stuff. Like,
right,
it feels like they're talking around ever saying Germany or England, but it's like
they say the enemy in like in a Top Gun fashion.
Right, but it's like in 1936, like people were like, this shit's gonna go bad soon.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, this place that looks very much like England is getting bombed by airplanes, and like buildings are blowing up, and like people are running for cover in like subways, and it's like this all happened when they said it would. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the Blitz, they didn't have a name for it. Like, they didn't call it that, but it's like they are showing you scenes that are like very recognizably the Blitz in 1936, 4 years before it happened.
I mean, something about this kind of makes me wonder if this movie was like made from this kind of dread of the future that honestly a lot of people have right now, you know?
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
like they could feel that World War II was about to happen, and so they were making this, like, expressing that.
Thankfully, World War II did not go quite as badly as it is portrayed in this film.
Yeah. It became a complete like world ender in this
Right.
movie.
It's like in this movie, World War II becomes like more or less like the apocalypse. Like it
yeah.
there's chemical poison gas being used, which again, thankfully, World War II was not really a thing.
But it certainly was in World War One, which was why they were so
Right.
fixated on it.
Exactly. But then that in the film Things to Come leads to this, like, they call it wandering sickness, and there's just this like plague that spreads across the earth. Wouldn't know what that feels like.
Yeah, due to the chemical weapons. Yeah. I want to talk also just about the very beginning of this movie too, because like they're doing some like really kind of good stuff with like juxtaposing like this Christmas joy with
Yeah.
like the coming war.
Also, the effects in this opening section are phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. Like the way that it's shot, the way that like, there's a reason why it gave me nightmares was
Mm.
like it's really effective the way that it's done. Like the on Christmas Day, the children are like opening presents and they're playing with little toy soldiers, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
foreshadowing the violence that's about to happen, and also like they're juxtaposing. There's a really striking shot as all the soldiers are being mobilized of a child pretending to be a soldier in the foreground with the shadows of all of the adult soldiers marching off in the background, like making these juxtapositions between like innocence and violence in both the Christmas and the children with the war. There's like an extremely dark scene that's taking place during the war where there are the kind of main characters ish, like they kind of they have that same actors play different people throughout the course of the movie. They are flying airplanes dropping chemical weapons on the enemy. One of their airplanes crashes, and then the friend kind of lands to go and rescue the guy who crashed. They're kind of like holding each other, wings style. And then you see like the chemical weapons that he just dropped rolling in on both of them. Like he is like creating his own demise by dropping the chemical weapons. And a little girl walks up. They're putting on their gas masks. A little girl walks up, presumably like one of the civilians of this country that they're bombing, and he realizes that he doesn't have long to live, so he gives the child his gas mask, and he's just sitting there going like, man, I probably just killed this kid's mom, and now I'm giving up my life to save her. It's a little bit like didactic, like he's talking to the camera more or less, but it's also like, damn, like, jeez.
And then his friend leaves his gun behind, so he can shoot himself instead of being, slow death by gas.
Yeah, and then the scene ends with a gunshot. It's really it's really serious stuff.
Yeah. It should be noted this movie was not made under the Hays Code because it was a UK production.
Yes, correct. But still, it's like, it's astoundingly dark. And like this first part is very serious, very gritty and realistic and serious compared to the next two parts, which are not.
Yeah, I mean they get progressively more kind of outlandish, which is kind of the point. But also, it is like the opening starts like, and it's so immediate and so like terrifying. In how like peaceful life shattered by like the most horrific war possible, which is like a thing that all these people remembered happening within their lifetimes. Like, they're like, this happened like 20 years ago. This was not, we all remembered this.
This first part is very, very good. And
yes,
and the second part is a lot of fun, and the third part is kind of like, what?
Right. So then the second part is like, we fast forward to 1970.
Yes.
We kind of like take little jumps ahead. It's like World War II lasts until about 1966.
Yeah, but then like the chemical weapons, as you were saying, like have created effectively like zombies.
Right. It's like it like drives people mad, and it is a disease. So it's like this is kind of like a proto zombie movie for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
But
I feel
it's
like earlier there's like White Zombie and things like that are more about sort of like the mind control and the kind of like weird like kind of black magic of zombies.
yeah. But it has the zombie flavor of like a post-apocalypse, and it's like,
Yeah.
do we shoot this person who we recognize who used to be a
Right.
person, you know?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they walk around, it's called the wandering sickness, they walk around kind of with their hands in front of them,
Right. They
zombie
were like
like.
dressed in rags and shambling around.
But then yeah, once at so we have that digression right at the end of the war where like the combination of the war and the wandering sickness has taken out about half of the entire world's population.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to spend the next time like rebuilding basically, but like it's a total apocalyptic situation. And so
Right. The society that we're following is run by this like warlord who's like a former soldier that has like taken over this town.
yeah, after the wandering sickness is done, it's like 1970, and it basically becomes Mad Max at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
we
there's a Rolls Royce being pulled by horses.
yeah, it's just like the garb of the people is
Mhm.
very like Road Warrior.
Everyone starts wearing like more like medieval style clothing, like
Yeah.
armor and furs and things.
There's a lot that's clunky about this movie, but there's also it's like a lot that's like really presages so many things, like World War II,
Yeah.
zombies, Mad Max, you know.
Which I did not expect from it. What I knew about this movie was really only kind of like the third part of it, which is like the super like far-flung futuristic like spaceship stuff. This kind of like really intense like war movie thing, and then the like crazy like Mad Max post-apocalyptic stuff. I'm like, where is this movie going? This is crazy.
Yeah, we should mention also this is written by H.G. Wells. It's
Oh yeah, of course.
it's-
Like
based on a short story that he wrote, and he wrote
Mhm.
the screenplay as well.
yeah. I kind of get the sense he didn't really write it as a screenplay. He like wrote a thing that they then shot, but I don't think he like wrote it as a screenplay necessarily. Even though I think it was intended to be written for the screen still.
He didn't use Celtics.
No, he did not. But there's this whole kind of like Fallout style, like Brotherhood of Steel thing where people are trying to like preserve technology, like the old technology, and like keep that. So they're like trying to, they're like mechanics who are trying to like get airplanes working again and like make fuel for them, and like because the warlord wants to keep the war going. Basically, he's like, no, they're gonna come get us. We need to like have weapons. We need defenses.
Yeah, and he's like trying to like elevate himself to this like god status almost.
Yeah.
Like our king basically.
Mhm.
He acts like a king, but like there's holes in his castle, you know,
Yeah.
degraded columns and that kind of thing.
This is pretty like, I don't know, standard like post-apocalyptic. Yeah, there's a warlord. He's bad. We don't like him. Like, how are we gonna get out of this situation?
Well, and then a spaceman shows up.
Yeah, and then like a weird helicopter shows up. This is really where the Brotherhood of Steel thing comes in with like there is this other society that is really futuristic and is like, no, we've kept technology going. We have flying machines. We have all this stuff, and like we're past your petty conflicts. We don't need that.
Yeah, they're peaceful. They're like trying to get rid of the violence of the last 40 years or so, but they or 30 years, but like there's also something a little bit like ominous about them.
A little sinister. One of those things. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, why are like utopias always feel sinister in things? Like when in Star Trek, right? When they land on a planet and everyone's just like super happy all the time. It's like, what's going on? who's getting melted in the basement? Like something's wrong here. I just think that's interesting how it's like it feels like we reject like complete like comfort and like safety. It's like if something's like too happy, we're like, no, something's wrong. Like there has to be some dark underbelly to this.
Right, it's like I don't know if the movie really ever fully comes down and says like these people are bad. I mean, honestly, I think the movie
No.
is on their side, especially as we move into the third section.
Mm-hmm.
they kind of overwhelm with their amazing 1970s like aircraft carriers in the sky kind of
Yeah.
situation. So yeah, they kind of roll in and take over this area, and they're like, "We've defeated the warlord. Violence is
Hmm.
over now."
Yeah.
Uh, and then we go
We
from
we have we have a flying wing.
yeah, and there are all these people kind of dressed in these like, I mean, 60s, 50s, 60s sci-fi kind of clothing of
Like jumpsuits, all matching jumpsuit
yeah.
type with helmets, which it does feel like something from like a 50s or a 60s sci-fi thing,
Yeah.
and it predates that by like 20
Mhm.
years, which
Mhm.
is interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I do think 60s or like 50s sci-fi especially was taking a lot from like 30s pulp stories also.
Sure, yeah. A lot of this imagery probably did exist in some way, but like cinematically, we haven't really seen like many depictions of the future we haven't that we have seen have not like been this thoroughly, I don't know, this thoroughly designed in a way that I think
Mm.
we can kind of recognize as something that like if Logan's Run in before kind of visions of the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. We flash forward to 2036.
Hmm.
Then it is kind of, instead of being this like post-apocalyptic wasteland, it is like this kind of more utopian society.
Yeah.
Everyone has all of their needs accounted for. There's like massive underground cities. Cities are all underground now. No more windows. There's a guy who's like talking about like, oh, back in the past. He's like an old man, wizened old man. It's like, I remember when I was a child. We back in during the age of windows.
uh weird take, incorrect, but I get where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
Hey, next 12 years, we're cutting all windows out. No more windows.
And
Mac OS across the board.
yeah, in 2036 I'll be 43 years old.
43 years old. Yeah, damn. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not that old. The future city does look, it does have a very futuristic aesthetic that I still
Mhm.
feel like still feels kind of like it reminded me of the Oculus in New York City, which is a very wild looking futuristic building, but it's like it doesn't look like 30s futurism. I guess it has a slightly more kind of art deco design to it, but it's, yeah, I think a lot of the futurism in this movie doesn't feel as kind of dated as I might have expected it to.
Yeah, yeah. They sit on clear chairs.
Yeah, everyone's wearing capes. I do hope in the next 12 years we go full capes. Just everyone's got a cape.
I don't know. It's not good for airplane jet engines.
True. That is true. Or a revolving doors. But there's also a thing where like there's seemingly like no humor in the future anymore. Like because no one has any hardships, like there's no jokes. Humor is like a lost, form.
Yeah, I think the movie, so the conflict of this third section is between the kind of sort of humorless, we have turned ourselves into machines but we are ultimately correct establishment of the
Mhm.
future utopia, and then a kind of easily riled up mob
Yeah.
that
We
decides
don't
that
want to go to the moon.
yeah, they're like, too much progress, too much stuff happening, let's return to cavemen, let's be
Well, it is.
Luddites.
It's like humanity is too content. We have to rebel.
Right.
I think that is, if nothing else, a very interesting like philosophical question where it's like if you have ultimate comfort and contentment within a society, like is that sustainable?
Right.
Like are humans built to live that way?
When they made the first version of the Matrix.
Exactly. Like that is a really interesting, like, are utopias inherently impossible?
Well, so the thing is though, like I think they don't like portray it as a perfect actually utopia, because
Right.
one of the main complaints of these people is not just like we don't like progress and we want to stir things up. It's also like them saying that this constant progress has made it so that we can't ever rest.
Mhm.
Like we're not allowed to just sit and enjoy our lives because we're constantly having to work to make the
Mhm.
society more and more
We need
advanced.
growth.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
about growth.
They need to see that second quarter growth.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I get them from that point of view.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know about like, sabotaging a moon launch. That's cool. Well, I sabotage that, you know.
Although even that, the thing of the like, we don't want. Why are we going to the moon? This is pointless. Like, there's nothing up there.
Yeah.
Was a thing people said when we landed on the actual moon. It was like, why are we going to the moon? We have so many problems here already. Like, you spent so much money to go to the moon.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I which is also like, I think it's very cool that we landed on the moon, but like there are a lot of things on Earth that we could spend money on to make our lives better, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also like the kind of complicating factor of it's like there's almost like a kind of new king and dynastic thing going on
Hmm.
because like the people who are the beneficiaries of a lot of the best technology are like the children of the guy who leads the
Hmm.
society, which they didn't specifically call out as one of their complaints, but it did kind of seem a little off. But yeah, I thought this last part was kind of boring and like it didn't, I don't know. It was just fine.
Right. It raises some interesting questions, kind of philosophically, but yeah, it isn't nearly as fun to watch as the other ones. There are some just kind of fun, like futuristic things, like someone has a kind of an Apple Watch type of thing going on, which that was like, Dick Tracy had one of those too. There is the way that they're going to get to the moon is similarly to a trip to the moon. They have a giant space gun that's going to shoot a space bullet into the moon. Hey, at least Fritz Lang was like, no space gun. We're just gonna build a rocket. That's gonna be how it goes.
We're going to consult with Nazi rocket engineers
Yeah.
because they know that we need to build rockets, as we did as Americans consult with
Exactly.
Nazi
Yeah.
rocket engineers.
The same rocket engineers. Literally the same people. This does have like a really good sense of scale with the miniatures. Like they
Yeah,
really sell the kind of like grandiosity of this future.
the sets are crazy in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a mob that attacks the moon gun and it goes off and like there's this kind of, it ends in this like kind of monologue about the future of humanity and how like we have to progress. Like that's humanity is built to like strive for more.
It's a little
All of the
earnest.
universe or nothing is what he says, which I think is intended in a sort of an optimistic way, but I think that phrase "all the universe or nothing"
It sounds
sounds
like Manifest Destiny. It sounds
right.
like
It sounds bad.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. This movie ended on a note where I was like, huh, not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know if I think this movie is good necessarily, but I think it is fascinating. I think the ideas
For
it's
sure.
playing with and the ways in which it is looking towards the future and trying to like not necessarily predict things, but it does end up predicting a lot of things fairly accurately.
Hmm.
And I think it is also just that it is this like very kind of like philosophically minded science fiction thing.
Yeah.
Much like the Twilight Zone, it has a very Twilight Zone-y vibe to it.
It's 3 episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Kind of, yeah. That have this kind of this like generational sort of Cloud Atlas thing with like the same actors reappearing.
Yeah.
I think it is a really interesting movie to watch, especially in its like historical context.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's, I think there are parts of it that are really good, obviously. I think there are parts of it that are kind of lame. And but I think that all of it, I think it's worth watching because it's like really interesting. It's really fascinating.